Before we begin, here's what you'll discover in today's episode. How did a new Persian dynasty overthrow the Parthian Empire and rebuild one of the most powerful states of the ancient world? Why did the Sasanian Empire become the greatest rival of Rome for more than 4 centuries? And how did Zoroastrianism shape the political and cultural identity of Iran? In this episode, we'll explore the rise, power, and legacy of the Sasanian Empire, the last great empire of ancient Iran. In the previous episode, we explored the rise of the Persian world through the Medes and the Achaemenid Empire. But in 330 BCE, Alexander the Great conquered Persia and brought the Achaemenid Empire to an end. For centuries afterward, Iran was ruled by foreign dynasties and regional powers. Yet in the 3rd century CE, a new empire emerged, one that would restore Persian power and become the greatest rival of Rome. This was the Sasanian Empire, the last great empire of ancient Iran. The Sasanian Empire began in 224 CE, when a Persian ruler named Ardashir I defeated the Parthian king in battle. Ardashir claimed descent from an ancient Persian priestly family and aimed to revive the traditions of earlier Persian empires. According to historian Touraj Daryaee, the Sasanians saw themselves as the heirs of the Achaemenid kings. They sought to rebuild a strong and centralized Iranian state. Under Ardashir, the foundations of the new empire were established. Unlike the Parthian Empire that preceded them, the Sasanians created a far more centralized government. The king ruled as the King of Kings, a title that symbolized universal authority. Powerful noble families still existed, but the monarchy held much stronger control over administration and the military. The empire developed a complex bureaucracy and organized provincial administration. According to historian Richard Fry, this structure made the Sasanian Empire one of the most powerful states of late antiquity. One of the defining characteristics of the Sasanian Empire was the close relationship between religion and the state. The official religion of the empire became Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest monotheistic traditions. Zoroastrian priests played an important role in government and society. Temples and sacred fires were established across the empire. However, despite the prominence of Zoroastrianism, the empire remained religiously diverse. Christians, Jews, Manichaeans, and other religious communities lived within Sasanian territory. Perhaps the most dramatic aspect of Sasanian history was its long rivalry with Rome. For centuries, the two empires fought for control of the Middle East. Battles took place across Mesopotamia, Armenia, and Syria. One of the most famous moments occurred in 260 CE, when the Sasanian king Shapur I defeated and captured the Roman Emperor Valerian. It was one of the most humiliating defeats in Roman history. From that point onward, the Roman and Sasanian empires remained locked in a continuous struggle for dominance. Despite the constant warfare, the Sasanian Empire was also a center of culture and learning. The royal court supported scholars, philosophers, and physicians. Cities like Ctesiphon became major political and cultural centers. Sasanian art, architecture, and administrative practices would later influence both the Islamic world and the Byzantine Empire. In many ways, the Sasanians preserved and transformed the ancient traditions of Iran. However, by the early 7th century, decades of war with the Byzantine Empire had weakened both states. When Arab Muslim armies emerged from Arabia in the 630s, the exhausted Sasanian Empire could not resist them. By 651 CE, the last Sasanian king was defeated and the empire came to an end. but its legacy would live on in Iranian culture, administration, and political thought. The Sasanian Empire was the final great empire of ancient Iran. It revived Persian political traditions, strengthened the role of Zoroastrianism, and stood as the main rival of Rome for centuries. Even after its fall, the institutions and cultural achievements of the Sasanians continued to shape the history of Iran and the broader Middle East. In the next episode, we will explore how the Islamic conquest transformed Iran and how Persian culture adapted within the Islamic world. See you in the next video.